I need to make it clear that I don't consider myself a cyclist. I am not a cyclist. I am a human being like everybody else. I own a car. One of the ways that I choose to get around is on a bicycle. I take my kids to school in here. I put both of them in the front. I can carry 200 pounds of groceries. It's fantastic. Handmade in Copenhagen. There are like 4 of these in Canada, and you have one right here in Thunder Bay, so go ahead and get yourself some more.
The Memorial Link is a fast, safe, and all ages accessible cycle track, 5 kilometers long, from Patterson Park in the south end, all the way along May and Memorial to Algoma in the north end of Thunder Bay.
The reality is the bicycle is cheap, it saves piles of money, but it also lets you get exercise at the same time. It's almost as fast as driving. It automatically gives you like me time during the day. That's why I think the bicycle is amazing. I started biking because the city painted a bike lane in front of my house. So if ever there's a question about if bike lanes induce demand, I am exhibit A. So bike lanes increase people who bike, and therefore they increase safety. And the city has good data that says, I think, pretty much on every bike lane that was installed, every street that has had bike lanes installed, the rate of accidents has either remained steady or decreased. Last September, I did a deputation with one of my colleagues, and we basically asked council to put the May Memorial corridor onto the active transportation plan. We asked for that. We also asked for a complete streets policy where all users of roads and streets are considered whenever a road is rebuilt. So we basically want pedestrians and cyclists and people with disabilities considered as first-class users of all streets in the city when reconstruction comes up, not just cars, which has historically been the case. The thing about the Memorial Link is that it's in the highest traffic street in the city, and it's already one of the busiest bicycle corridors in the city. But there's no infrastructure, so people are riding on the sidewalk. And I think if more people were honest with themselves about what their abilities are and what they aren't, and truly said, I'd really like to have some choice, and then they would support this notion of cycle tracks, of separating bicycles, of giving them their own space.
Dean wants to challenge people to speak up and be engaged, to share their thoughts and feelings with our local council members, and join the Memorial Links movement.
What people need to do to join this and to participate with this is they need to write their counselors on a regular basis. They need to call their counselors. They need to take their counselors out for coffee. They need to explain to them. They need to be engaged in the process and say, look, I don't like the way this street's arranged right now. I don't like how it's really uncomfortable to walk down Memorial Avenue in the summer. I will get or in the winter, or anytime. It's bleak, there's no trees, there's cars moving by at high speed. People need to speak up. So there's the counselor aspect, there's also administration. People need to tell engineering. They need to say, I want to see complete streets. They need to see things like, when you're doing your transportation master plan update, I would like to participate in the process. People need to go to the meetings. They're really dry sometimes, but if you go out to these meetings and you say something, most of the people in the meeting will actually put up their hands and say, yeah, that's a pretty good idea, if you have a pretty good idea. This isn't about a small special interest group. This is about the 60 to 70% of the public that says, yeah, if it was safer, if I felt safer, I'd totally ride a bike. Because that's literally what it is. It's like 60 to 70% of people in almost every study that's done. And they don't ride because they don't feel safe. So make it safe. Average people in average clothes, doing average things like getting groceries and going to work, going to school, will ride a bicycle. There are no obvious, difficult to refute objections about doing this. It's going to save us money. It's going to save individual people money. It's going to save lives. It's going to make us healthier. It's going to make us more sustainable. It will all just be hotter. I mean, it's a beautiful thing.
For Go on Shaw TV, this is Akio Brayshaw.